Imagine a quiet Tennessee evening where one simple question sparks a journey through loss, healing, and the transformative power of compassion. This is Karoline's story, a story that reminds us that even the smallest symbols can hold the weight of an entire lifetime. Stay with me as we explore every twist, every memory, and every hope in this unforgettable tale. Before we begin, please hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and leave a comment sharing a time when a small act of kindness changed your life. Now let's get started. In the heart of Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, an old community center comes alive one cool evening. Neighbors gather for a meet and greet, the space filled with the gentle hum of conversation, the clink of coffee cups, and the enticing aroma of freshly brewed coffee and warm pastries. It's a place where everyone knows each other by name, where laughter and stories flow as freely as the local brew. Karoline Leavitt stands behind a folding table stacked with pamphlets. She smiles warmly at every visitor, not for the praise, but for the connection. Each handshake, each nod, and each friendly word weaves the fabric of a close-knit community. Tonight, however, fate has set aside one encounter that will change the way Karoline views her own past and the hope for the future. As she moves from one conversation to the next, a gentle tug on her sleeve makes her pause. At first, she assumes it's just another curious child, but when she glances down, she sees a little girl no older than 7. With soft chestnut curls and wide, soulful brown eyes, the child clutches the hem of her floral dress and points with a trembling finger at the delicate gold cross necklace resting on Karoline's collarbone. "Miss Karoline, what does your necklace mean?" the little girl asks in a voice barely above a whisper. In that single moment, the lively chatter in the room seems to fade into a hushed reverence. The noise, the aroma, even the soft background music, all vanish as if the world itself has paused to listen. For Karoline, that question is both simple and profound. The gold cross isn't just an accessory, it's a symbol laden with memories, a beacon of faith and sorrow intertwined. Crouching down to meet the child's earnest gaze, Karoline feels the pull of long-buried memories rising up. Her voice, steady yet soft, begins. "This necklace was given to me by someone very dear, a reminder that even in our darkest moments, we're never truly alone." As she speaks, her eyes glisten with memories of a past that shaped her life in ways she's only come to understand over time. Let's journey back with Karoline to a time when she was a fragile 19-year-old freshman at Belmont University in Nashville. Back then, dreams shimmered on the horizon, yet she felt weighed down by the pressures of balancing demanding classes, 2 part-time jobs, and a nagging feeling of never quite belonging. Though raised in a home of faith, the comfort of belief seemed elusive. A distant melody she struggled to hear amid the noise of everyday life. It was a time of quiet desperation. Karoline attended church services, whispered her prayers before bed, and tried to catch fragments of solace in the routines of life. But the vibrant faith of her childhood had dimmed, replaced by a lingering loneliness that even the most crowded lecture halls couldn't dispel. Then, one fateful night just after midnight, Karoline's life took an abrupt turn. In the dim glow of her dorm room laptop, a sudden phone call shattered the quiet. The familiar voice of her mother, heavy with grief, delivered the unbearable news. Her beloved grandmother, a woman who had taught her the art of baking biscuits, who filled every room with the scent of lavender, and who embodied unwavering faith, had passed away suddenly from a heart attack. In that instant, time itself seemed to slow. Karoline remembers the numbing shock, the distant sound of her roommate's quiet sobs, and the feeling of watching her life from afar. The following morning, she returned to her childhood home, where her grandmother's favorite chair sat abandoned and the house still carried the ghostly perfume of lavender and loss. Unable to sleep that first night, Karoline wandered into her grandmother's bedroom. There, amid the quiet clutter of memories, lay a small, worn Bible, and resting atop its pages a delicate gold cross pendant. This was no ordinary piece of jewelry. It was something sacred, something that had been a part of her grandmother's daily ritual. As Karoline picked up the cross, she felt its cool metal against her skin. In that moment, the pendant transformed from mere ornament to a tangible reminder of her grandmother's enduring faith. In the silence of that lonely night, as tears blurred her vision, Karoline clutched the cross and questioned everything. Why would God take someone so full of love? How am I meant to find hope in this endless darkness? She sank onto the bed, the fabric of the quilt against her forehead as she whispered into the void, a plea for some sign, some warmth to melt the icy grip of grief. For what felt like an eternity, she sat there enveloped in sorrow until, almost imperceptibly, a subtle easing of the pain began. Her ragged breathing slowed, and deep within, a small, comforting warmth flickered to life. In the days that followed, Caroline's world felt like a slow, trudging journey through a fog of grief. Classes, once a sanctuary of knowledge, became endless hours of distraction. The weight of loss was constant, a companion she could neither shake off nor fully embrace. Yet, amid that pervasive sadness, there were moments when the cross resting against her chest reminded her of the strength she once drew from her grandmother's example. One evening in the university lounge, while lost in thought over a textbook that blurred into the background, Karoline encountered Brandon, a quiet, reserved classmate whose eyes were rimmed with the red of recent sorrow. Brandon's father had passed away just a day earlier, and the pain in his voice resonated deeply with her own. Recognizing the shared burden of grief, Karoline did something unexpected. She removed her cherished necklace and, with a trembling yet tender smile, offered it to him. "Hold on to this until you feel ready," she whispered. "Let it remind you that even in the deepest sadness there's a spark of hope." In that moment, the simple act of sharing became a bridge between two hurting souls. Brandon accepted the necklace, his eyes shining with unshed tears, and in that quiet exchange both found a brief respite from their isolation. It was an act that would ripple forward, teaching Karoline that sometimes healing begins when we extend our own lifelines to others. Years have passed since those turbulent days at Belmont, and Karoline has grown into a woman whose heart carries both the scars and the wisdom of her past. Tonight, at the community center in Lawrenceburg, she stands once again, this time not as a grieving student but as a beacon of hope for her community. Surrounded by familiar faces and warm greetings, she has learned to embrace her journey. But as the evening unfolds, the past reaches out once more. The little girl with wide, curious eyes tugs at Karoline's sleeve, repeating that fateful question, "Miss Karoline, what does your necklace mean?" For a moment, the memories of loss, resilience, and transformation surge through her, and she kneels to meet the child's gaze. With a steady voice full of gentle wisdom, Karoline explains, "My grandmother gave me a necklace just like this when I was your age. At first I thought it was just a pretty piece of jewelry. But after she passed away, I learned it meant so much more. It became a reminder that even when life feels unbearably heavy, you're never alone." The child listens, eyes wide as if trying to capture every word. Then, in a moment that mirrors the past and yet opens a new chapter, the little girl confesses quietly, "My mom used to wear one, but we had to sell it because we needed food." The room seems to hold its breath. Karoline's heart aches with empathy, and without hesitation she unclasps her necklace and gently places it in the girl's small hand. "It's yours now," Karoline says softly, "and whenever you wear it, remember that you are loved and never alone." In that single powerful gesture, a new chapter is written, a chapter where a symbol of deep personal loss transforms into a legacy of shared hope. If this story has touched you so far, please hit that like button. Leave a comment below sharing your thoughts on the power of small acts of kindness, and subscribe to join our community. Your support helps us spread these important stories of hope and healing. Almost as if the act of giving were contagious, something remarkable begins to unfold. In the wake of Karoline's gesture, the energy in the community center shifts. A man in the back, weathered by years of hard work and life struggles, steps forward. He reaches into his pocket and offers a small wad of cash to the little girl's mother, explaining softly that it's just enough to help with groceries. Soon others follow. A kind neighbor hands over a gift card to a local store, while another offers a modest bracelet as a symbol of solidarity. Each small gift, each tender gesture reinforces the truth that kindness multiplies. Strangers become friends as they rally around the little girl and her family, united by the belief that even the smallest acts can create waves of change. For Karoline, this is a moment of profound realization that her own painful journey and her willingness to share it can inspire others to be generous, compassionate, and hopeful. Later that night, as the community center empties and the soft glow of twilight gives way to a star-filled sky, Karoline steps outside. The cool evening air wraps around her as she gazes up at the heavens. In the quiet solitude of that moment, she reflects on all that has happened, on the grief that once threatened to break her, on the healing that came with every shared moment of kindness, and on the enduring power of a simple necklace. She remembers how, as a young woman, she had once clutched that cross in despair, feeling abandoned and lost. Now, as an adult, she understands that faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting that even in the darkest times, there's a spark of light waiting to be kindled by our own small acts of love. And tonight, that light shines brightly in the eyes of a little girl who now carries the legacy of hope. Time passes, and we now fast forward a few years. Karoline's life has evolved, a blend of quiet victories and ongoing challenges. She has continued to serve her community, using her experiences to reach out to those who feel lost or alone. One crisp autumn day, as Karoline strolls through the town square, she encounters a familiar face. It's Brandon, the classmate to whom she once lent her necklace in his darkest hour. His eyes, though lined with new struggles, now sparkle with a resilient hope. They sit together on a park bench, reminiscing about the past and discussing how small acts of kindness had changed their lives. Brandon tells her how that necklace became a talisman, a symbol of the time someone believed in him when he felt utterly abandoned. Karoline smiles, knowing that even though the necklace had left her side, its true value was never in its material form, but in the love it represented. Their conversation meanders into memories of others they've met along the way, neighbors who reached out with simple gestures, strangers who became friends, and a community that learned to heal together. It's in these quiet exchanges that Karoline sees the ripple effect of every compassionate act, a testament to how one small symbol can inspire an entire town to believe in the possibility of healing. Back in Lawrenceburg, the little girl who once received the necklace is now growing into a thoughtful, determined young person. Despite hardships at home and the everyday challenges of life, she carries the necklace as a cherished heirloom, a tangible reminder that she is never alone. In moments of doubt, she holds it close, recalling the gentle words of Karoline and the supportive gestures of the community. One day, as she sits in a quiet corner of the local library, she picks up a journal and begins to write. With each word, she pours out her hopes, her struggles, and the belief that no matter what, kindness endures. Her writing becomes a small beacon, a way for her to process her own journey while inspiring others to share their stories. Over time, her journal evolves into a community project where others contribute their tales of resilience and compassion. The project becomes a living archive of the town's spirit, a testament to how even the smallest symbol, a gold cross, can ignite a movement of shared hope and unity. As we draw closer to the end of our story, let's return to Karoline one last time. Standing at the threshold of the community center on a crisp winter evening, she watches as neighbors, friends, and even strangers exchange warm smiles and supportive words. In her heart, she knows that every tear shed, every kind gesture, and every shared memory has contributed to a greater tapestry of hope. Karoline recalls the day when the little girl first asked about her necklace, the day that forced her to confront her own grief and rediscover the power of giving. That moment, as simple as it seemed, changed everything. It transformed a personal tragedy into a legacy of kindness, a ripple effect that touched lives far beyond her own. In that serene moment, she whispers a quiet prayer, a promise to continue sharing her story, to keep the flame of compassion burning bright, and to remind everyone who crosses her path that even the smallest symbols can carry immeasurable hope. If this journey has touched your heart, please subscribe, hit that like button, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Share this video with someone who might need a spark of hope today. Let's build a community of kindness where every shared story lights the way for another. Karoline's journey teaches us that faith is not a destination but an ongoing journey, a path paved with compassion, resilience, and the willingness to reach out. Whether you're healing from a loss or simply searching for meaning in your day, remember that every small act of kindness matters. Thank you for joining me on this 10 to 15-minute exploration of hope, healing, and the power of one simple symbol. Stay kind, stay hopeful, and I'll see you in the next video.